Alright guys, so Hoyt has dropped their new line of bows, the new Alpha X series, which we have the 33 right here. And yeah, I'm lucky enough to get one of these things early. And unfortunately, they didn't really address the whole cam, lean, and tuning issue. Well, it's not necessarily an issue that the bows have, it's just that adjusting them on existing Hoyts is a pain in the butt. Even with the tool that you can buy from them, it's still a huge pain in the butt. It takes a lot of time, you have to use a bow press, yada yada yada. So, what I have done is I have come up with this, okay? A little kit you buy, comes with everything you need in this bag, and it has these little shim clips that actually clamp onto the limb via the bolts that are on them. And once you basically remove the shims that the bow ships with, which you can just have your dealer do when you pick up your bow, basically you don't need a bow press anymore in order to move these cams right and left and do your paper tuning. And it's pretty cool. It's a lot easier than the Hoyt system, which is a dinosaur system as far as I'm concerned. Now, they're made of ASA plastic, so they're not made of aluminum like the new ones are, but I've never heard of one of these things ever cracking anyways. It's a bit of a, that's a bit of an issue where they're addressing a problem that doesn't exist, and there's a bigger problem that does exist, and that's the fact that tuning these things is a pain in the butt. So, let's begin. I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to use my own bow press and basically drop out the existing shims that are in here, and then we'll put in a set of these. Now, these have little holes in them. Based on the number of holes, will tell you what shim size or thickness it is. Okay, and they come in units. They come in increments of 5 thousandths. The Hoyt shim system comes in units of 10 thousandths. So their system's much coarser. A lot of times you will find yourself you need a shim that's in between, and this is kind of my solution to that by giving you 5 thousandths. I also give you a couple of shim sizes that Hoyt doesn't give you at all. Most notably, they're 95 thousandths shims. So basically, if you want to put the cam right in the middle, that's where your bow needs it, well then you can do it. Okay? So, let's begin. Alright, so I've got my limbs pulled back here and the string is loose and everything. Basically, all we did is pulled out this axle bolt and then pulled the axle through and dropped these guys out. Okay, they fell on the table, and put them in a bag for safekeeping in the future, and then stuck the axle back in. I'm going to actually set this limb bolt back. Now, these have Loctite on them. It's like a white Loctite. I would recommend at least replacing it with like a blue Loctite or something like that. Everybody should have a little bit of blue Loctite on hand. So we're going to set a little bit, oops, that came out fast. Put a little blue Loctite on there and then screw her back in. Now, something you should note is that when you're screwing this guy back in here, it is possible to actually pinch the limbs together if there's no shims in here. So basically just screw it back until the bolt goes flush with the limb once again. You don't want to torque down on it, because like I said, what you'll do is you'll pull the limbs together, and you don't want to do that. Now, each piece has a set of holes in it, as you can see there, and your kit is going to come with a cheat sheet that looks something like this. And basically, based on the number of holes, it'll tell you which size the shim it is. There are also minuses, which the minuses will have a little raised spot. This one's actually a minus. And those are the in-between in 5 thousandths increments, okay? So gives you more options there. Now, essentially, any combination that you pick has to equal 0.2 inches. So they'll give you an example here, a 0.085 shim and a 0.0115 should equal 0.2, right? And there's missing a 0 there, which we'll fix. So it's a little bit of arithmetic that you got to do. Anybody should be able to do it. Now, when you tighten these back down, there's about 2 threads that will go in. These are T10 Torx screws. And I actually send you one of these so that you can do this yourself. There you go. As you can see, it comes right out, pretty easy. And once again, I would recommend a little bit of blue Loctite on these. And you don't need to torque these down very tight, because all they do is keep the limb from splitting or delaminating. And they're just going to hold the shim in place. So put a little bit of blue Loctite on there. Just hold the nut that's on the other side. It's really actually a larger torque screw, but it's a female. And we're just going to tighten it down until this clicks. This is set to 5 pounds. That's all the tension you need. Take that out. Here's our new shim. Snap it in place like so. Once again, just a little bit of blue Loctite. Man, this stuff comes out so freaking fast. There we go. Now, one thing that you may want to do when you're basically pushing the limb back and forth here is actually reduce poundage on your bow. PSC recommends doing that in order to slide it back and forth on the shaft. It's not too hard to do. You may need to, you may not need to. But, you know, it's just a piece of advice that I'll put out there for you. Now, something else that I'm going to provide you with here to make moving the cam right and left easier is this fork. As you can see, it's shaped like a wedge. Take the smooth side, put that against the cam, and then just use a small hammer. Let's zoom out so you can see it. Take a small hammer, and you can just shift the cam back and forth like that.